Today, we're diving into a really profound idea. It's one that connects something as simple as breathing to the huge, sweeping cycles of the stars, and what that connection might tell us about how we learn, how we grow, and, how we become who we're meant to be.
So, it all kicks off with something we do all day, every day, without even thinking about it. On average, you take about 18 breaths a minute. It's just that simple, steady rhythm of being alive.
Okay, but here's where it gets interesting. If you do the math on that, those 18 breaths a minute add up. Over a whole 24-hour day, that comes out to 25,920 breaths. Now that's a big number for sure, but it just sounds like a random biological fact, right?
Well, what if it's not random at all? What if this daily rhythm happening inside our own bodies is actually echoing a rhythm that is so much bigger, one that stretches across thousands of years?
This is the mind-blowing connection that's right at the heart of Rudolf Steiner's spiritual science. See, it takes 25,920 years for the Earth's axis to do one full wobble through the zodiac. This cosmic cycle is known as the Platonic year, and that number is mirrored perfectly in the number of breaths we take in one day. The idea here is that our very life is a microcosm, a tiny reflection of the entire cosmos.
So, if we run with that idea, that we're basically a little universe walking around, then how deep does that connection really go? Well, Steiner proposed that we're way more complex than just our physical bodies. He saw us as having these 4 distinct but interwoven layers of being.
First up, you've got the one we all know, the one we see in the mirror, the physical body. This is our dense, material self. It's made of the same stuff and follows the same physical laws as, rocks and minerals and the Earth itself.
But what animates that physical form? That's what Steiner called the etheric, or the life body. Now, this isn't some kind of finer, invisible material. A better way to think about it is like an architect's blueprint or a magnetic field. It's this pattern of invisible forces that shapes the physical stuff. It's what drives our growth, what forms our habits, and what holds onto our memories. Then, layer number 3 is the astral body. This is the home of our whole inner world. All our feelings, our desires, joy, pain, our impulses. It's that sentient, feeling layer that we actually share with the animal kingdom.
And finally, the thing that makes us uniquely human is what Steiner called the ego. And it is so important to understand, this is not the ego we talk about in psychology today, the one related to being arrogant. Not at all. This is the timeless, spiritual core of who we are. It's that little spark of self-awareness that lets us think about ourselves, have a personal story, and say the words, I am.
So just to be really clear, this isn't like a set of Russian dolls, where each one is just a smaller version of the other. No, these are fundamentally different planes of existence, all working together. You've got solid matter, you've got formative life forces, you've got sentient feelings, and you've got self-aware spirit.
Okay, so these 4 layers, they don't just pop into existence fully formed on day 1. According to Steiner, they actually emerge and connect with the world in this really distinct sequence, a sequence he called the 3 births of a human being.
The whole process kicks off with our physical birth, of course. But then, right around age 7, and this is often marked by that milestone of losing baby teeth, the etheric, or life body, is considered born. It becomes fully active and ready for new ways of learning. Then finally, around puberty, the astral or feeling body is born, and with it comes this whole new world of independent thought and really powerful emotions.
Think of it like a plant. You wouldn't look at a little sapling and get mad at it for not having flowers yet, right? The potential for those flowers, for the fruit, it's already inside, just waiting for the right time to unfold. Steiner argued that the very same thing is true for a child. So what on earth does all this mean for education? Well, it means everything. It suggests that a real art of education has to meet the child exactly where they are in this unfolding journey and nourish the part of their being that's just being born.
So before age 7, when the child is really building their physical and life force body, they learn almost completely through imitation. They are like a little sponge, just absorbing everything around them. That's why Steiner said providing good examples is so much more important than giving instructions. But then, from 7 to 14, as that feeling life wakes up, the way they learn totally shifts. Now they learn best through rich imagination, through stories, and through a sense of respect for an authority they can really look up to, not just through abstract rules.
During these really crucial middle years, the goal isn't just to cram a kid's head full of dry, abstract facts. It's to feed their soul,
to give them rich pictures, parables, and a living sense of beauty and meaning that they can actually see with the eye of the mind.
And what's really fascinating is how this philosophy applies even to subjects you'd think were totally abstract, like math.
So instead of just memorizing a formula on a blackboard, a child might physically lay out tiles, or they might color in the squares, or imagine their farmers measuring a field that needs to be plowed. The abstract idea gets connected to their will, to a feeling of actively doing something, of creating. The lesson becomes something they've lived, not just an idea they've heard.
But this whole developmental journey, it doesn't just stop when you're a teenager. According to Steiner, this entire process of childhood education is really just setting the stage for the main event of our adult lives, the work of the ego, of the I.
See, once these foundational layers are all set up in childhood, our conscious self, our I, begins its real, lifelong job to consciously work on our feelings, to transform our deep-seated habits, and to gradually elevate our entire being.
This becomes this amazing path of conscious evolution. First, the ego works on the raw impulses of the astral body, turning them into wisdom and creating what Steiner called the spirit self. Then, it gets to work on the deep habits of the etheric body, turning them into conscious virtues, creating the life spirit. And ultimately, this spiritual work can even start to refine our physical nature, leading towards something he called spirit man. So, in this view, human life isn't something static, it's a dynamic, creative project. The whole point is to consciously take the raw material of who we are and become the artist that shapes it into something higher, something more.
So, from a single breath to a cosmic year, this vision presents our entire life as this incredible, sacred process of becoming. And it really leaves us with a profound question to think about. If this constant unfolding is our true nature, what part of your own being is waiting right now for its moment to be born?